Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at a Crimson Dawn Disney Plus show. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee.
It was spectacular, and I thought he was so smart about what he did and how he did it. I just couldn't be happier.
Disney Plus is going to have to carry the mantle for Star Wars up until the next theatrical release, which takes place in 2023. It has gotten pushed back a year from 2022 to 2023, with the sequential releases being in 2025 and 2027. So up to that point, we're going to have several Disney Plus shows in development for Star Wars, which, good news, we do, but there are rumored to be many more Star Wars series in the works over at Disney Plus, and one of them is a Crimson Dawn TV series. And what this would do for most general audience fans is piggyback off of what Solo did, with the big bad of that being Dryden Voss with Crimson Dawn with the Darth Maul reveal at the end. And before we go any further, I want to address the Ray Park thing, and I'm not going to rush to any judgments on that as to what actually happened, but either way, Ray Park was the, live action portrayal of Darth Maul while the voice was still being done by Sam Witwer, which could still happen. Sam Witwer could still do the voice, Ray Park could still play the character, or alternatively, there has been some fan art out there with Sam Witwer actually donning the live action version of Maul, and it looks pretty good. So he could also portray live action as well. So we're gonna have to just set that aside for now, because there are still rumors in circulation about the Crimson Dawn show. So what I wanted to do is discuss what the show would actually be about in today's video. So we have a couple of tweets here from Corey Van Dyke and Jordan Mason. And one of them, Jordan Mason, says, "The Darth Maul story going around today. They have big plans for him, and he will certainly pop up in a couple of shows. For those who know me and what his collecting focus is, I've been teasing the Maul/Kira thing for a while now, which is the Maul and Kira thing would be the piggyback off of Solo with the Crimson Dawn specifically, where it teased at the end of Solo that Kira and Maul would have to be working a lot closely together, given the fact that Dryden Voss has now dead in lore." So Corey Van Dyke also tweeted, "We have heard some things about Maul, but Lucasfilm is very aware about how awesome a Crimson Dawn series would be, but we haven't heard anything that would make a video about it just yet." So two of these guys have commented on the obvious knowledge that Lucasfilm possesses that fans are wanting to see something Crimson Dawn, because this is essentially a crime syndicate show. It would kind of be like a Star Wars Mafia type of show, and that would be actually pretty interesting. So this whole show is obviously dependent on getting Emilia Clarke back to come and portray Kira again, which I looked at her IMDb and she only has one thing slated for 2020, so it's possible that she could be in talks with Lucasfilm. While that's not definitive, it's a possibility. So what Crimson Dawn is one of the galaxy's emerging crime syndicates. Crimson Dawn has quickly established a reputation for both ruthlessness and efficiency. The cultured gangster Dryden Voss is the organization's most visible representative, but underworld figures have begun to take notice of Voss's capable lieutenant and protege, Kira. So that is who Kira is now dealing that syndicate. So, despite her youth, Kira was Dryden Voss's most trusted lieutenant, and an increasingly important Crimson Dawn operative. She has risen far above the bleak conditions of her youth on Corellia, where she lived in the sewers with notorious White Worm's gang. After a daring castle run, which would fuel many years of Han's boastings, the team made it to the refinery of Severine, just in time to avoid an explosion. Despite Kira's affinity for her old friend and his heroic impulse to help in Fist Nest by betraying Dryden Voss, Kira's future was along a different path. In a battle, she turned against her captor, impaling him with his own Peter, and assumed control as the public figurehead of Crimson Dawn. And so that is what the Star Wars Databank has to say about both Crimson Dawn and Kira, and what I'd like to do is take one last look at what it has to say about Maul and a specific point of the biography that it entails within that. So the general description for Maul is as follows: a deadly agile Sith Lord trained by the evil Darth Sidious. Darth Maul was a formidable warrior and scheming mastermind. He wielded an intimidating double-bladed lightsaber and fought with a menacing ferocity. Though he fell in battle against Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Zabrak from Dathomir would prove to be much harder to destroy than originally believed. And you can continue reading about his biography, but it gets to this one section that is titled The Dark Times, which is where it gets into more of the Crimson Dawn and the Crime Syndicate. So it says as follows: "But Maul was resilient. and he survived the war to build an empire of his own as the true leader of Crimson Dawn. Operating from his homeworld of Dathomir, Maul entailed and commanded the crime syndicate with the help of refined figurehead and terrifying enforcer Dryden Voss, who traversed the galaxy on his lavish yacht, entertaining and brutally imposing the will of his master. After the death, Dryden's first lieutenant Kira assumed control over the territories, working closely with Maul to continue their rule. And the reason I read all of these entrances from the databank is because if you take a look at them individually, you would see that Crimson Dawn is still in present tense Dryden's command, as well with Kira being under Dryden. But if you go back to Darth Maul, it will give you that expanded version, which brings us forward to where Dryden's first lieutenant Kira assumed control over the territories, working closely with Maul to continue their rule, which implies that after Solo finished, this is what was going on, and that Maul was indeed working more closely with Kira. So this is where that could dovetail off into the actual Disney Plus series for Crimson Dawn. And this would be exceptionally well received by fans, not only for the fact that Emilia Clarke would be in it, she was a fan favorite among those of Solo, but it would also be that Mafia type aspect, which would draw more general audience fans, and it would have Darth Maul, which would drive a massive amount of Star Wars fans, both generic and diehard, and even those who had just maybe seen each of the series once just because they know who Darth Maul is, and he's such a popular character in Star Wars lore. So I just wanted to give you guys that rundown of this is what that show could be, and it definitely sounds like something that could be absolutely amazing, despite whoever they get to play Darth Maul, as well as Sam Witwer coming back to voice the character, because he's still employed over at Lucasfilm doing something with the Bad Batch. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, may God bless you, and the Force be with you always. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it!
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.